Nothing excites me more than seeing somebody walk up and think they're that guy. That after watching what should qualify as a war crime being done to somebody else for exactly the same thing they're about to do, they just walk up and they think to themselves, I'm that guy. Here today to tell you, no, you are not. You are not that guy. That said, I'm making a part 3 of the last fucking time that we talked about this. So here we go. We got one YouTube comment. I'm keeping this one nice and short. Not even gonna bother with fucking, hyper personalized insults. I'm just gonna run through real quick everything he said that's wrong. I've done it before. I'm gonna do it again. And then I'm just gonna immediately read through what I said as a response. I feel like this needs to be publicly outed for the stupidity that this is. So, without further ado, let's make this man feel bad for his stupidity, if he's even capable of it. So, I've blocked his name out. Find him if you want to. Don't really care. I'm doing the critical hit myself. So, his ego's already going to be crushed before you get to him. Ain't worth trying. Don't bother. So, he says, and this is reading directly from what is on screen now, my man, they weren't ready for this game to blow up at all. I was not expecting to have to stop one sentence in, of course. Usually the stupidity doesn't happen quite that fast. But with this man, it's on display from minute one. Very impressive. But let's tear that sentence apart after we get a little bit further in. Just, wrap it all up nice and neat with a bow. Put a cherry on top while we're at it. There are current, perfect English from this moron, nearly 100x more players on right now than the peak of their last game, which would be Helldivers 1. They've confirmed that they're getting help from Sony, and they've confirmed that they're having unexpected issues. This is where we will stop about halfway through his statement, and we're just going to tear this apart as a whole, if you will. So, seeing that there are currently 100 times more players than the peak of their last game is not saying much. Their last game was also an unexpected hit, except it was a niche one, if you will, I suppose. I'm being a bit too nice about this to this company, but it was a good game, so was Helldivers 2. I at no point said that neither one of them was a bad game. They're both great. Except that's irrelevant information. The second half of this is they weren't ready to blow up at all. Yes, they were. They full well knew what was going on. They have come out and said that they are astoundingly, happy that it's happened, but they, are not, wanting people to keep buying it. Their CEO, in fact, outright said, please fucking stop. So even, assuming they weren't ready, which is a lie, every studio should always have some kind of preparedness plan for when something goes a little too fucking well like that. So assuming that they didn't in any way know that this was a possibility, which I think is entirely bullshit, you're giving them way too much credit there, and assuming that for whatever reason we're just going to pretend like Sony, was completely blind to the possibility, assuming all these, nearly impossible things happened, sure, I'll be willing to accept that. On the, struck by lightning while upside down on Friday the 13th every time it happens for the rest of eternity would probably be more likely than that scenario. Yes, they are having unexpected issues. They did say that. Those unexpected issues are not excusable, though, for the way they have treated the situation by publishing information on external websites and nowhere close to where people are playing the game. You should, as a player, not be expected to travel to any developer's website or social media to receive input about the game that you just paid $60 for. That is inexcusable. There are no updates currently posted on Steam by any official source, and this issue has been going on for over a week. So, no excuses. Shut the fuck up. Let's carry on. They aren't so massive a company. They're a small company that received some money from Sony, and they're incredibly transparent about what's happening. Chill. we'll just take that last one there and say absolutely not. No Chill Nathan's in the house, bud. And you know what? When I'm here, we're here to fucking party, bud. It's over. You walked into this fight, you're gonna take your ass beating like a man. So, let's continue here. They are not a massive company. Correct. 100 people is not massive comparatively to other video game studios, but they are larger than many other indie companies, which they are trying to be compared to. Unfortunately, the second you are a Sony-funded project, you can't use the excuse of we're a small company. You're not. That's not how game development works. Sony is very hands-on with these kinds of things. They had access to Sony from the start. You are basically lying by not knowing what you're talking about. If Sony funded it, Sony is aware of everything that happens with this project. 100% somebody at Sony has known from day one. They've definitely had a direct line of support to Sony ever since they started this project. The minute Sony money touched that, Sony was involved. You no longer can be counted as this small studio like that. That's just not the case. And I hate to do this again, because everybody seems really keen on being like, it's not fair to compare the Baldur's Gate situation to this situation, because that's not okay. Congratulations, yes it is. Larian Studios has been doing this kind of shit for years. And while they are not... Headset cut out again, I really need to fix that. And while Larian is admittedly not the same situation, they don't have these kinds of issues with, oh, everything's fucking crashing and burning, so let's just not publicly put out any kind of information in a rational and reasonable way. That's the kind of thing that's happening here. Larian had those issues that they had, and they put it out on Steam, they put it out on their social media, they put it out on their YouTube. They did everything. They did a lot of shit. What's going on with these guys is they are forcing the players to put in 110% of the work to go find out what the fuck's going on, and they're allowing shitloads of bad information to spread, and they're not addressing any of the major issues, aside from doing interviews with news journalism sites and never addressing it on Steam or, putting out emails. They're not putting up posts in-game when you're stuck on that loading screen. Nothing. Nada. Which, as I have explained now multiple times in this video and previously, that's not acceptable. That's bullshit. And you're an idiot for assuming it is. So let's just finish this off with just a direct reading, if you will, of my response to this stupidity, and carry on with our lives until the next time I make one of these, which, knowing this situation, may be very soon. Aight. So let's just take a moment here, step back. You watched me tear into the anuses of every other moron that said this level of stupidity in my presence, like a child ripping into a bag of Skittles to taste the fucking rainbow, and you, all 17 total brain cells of you, decided it was a smart idea to step up like you were the exception to a WWE Raw-style SmackDown. You are either beyond high on the smell of your own soiled retard diaper, you are genuinely believing every word of that pony shill alphabet word soup vomit you just said. Either way, congrats on being so unfathomably brainless that I question how you even managed to type that out, let alone not combust from the effort of trying to process language, showcased by your lack of spelling capabilities, even with spell check there to carry your mongoloid ass through that. And now, I must bid you all adieu. It is about midnight, and, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna turn my notifications off. I'm gonna let these idiots stew for a while, and I'm gonna get up in the morning, and I'm gonna take another tall glass of not giving a damn. This has been me, Nathan Hunter, the long, long man. Signing off, boys. I'll sleep well tonight.